The sound of slow footsteps in an empty schoolway. I was alone in room 214 after school, reviewing my test paper. The classroom lights flickered, then someone whispered my name from behind. But when I turned around, the door was open and a woman I would never seen before was standing there, blocking the exit. Her face was pale, her clothes dripping water, and she said, "You shouldn't be here. He follows whoever sees me." This happened at the Riverside High School in Ohio, in a part of town where life is painfully normal. But the day I stayed back after school for a makeup math test, the building felt deserted. The kind of empty that makes every sound echo too loud. Room 214, the upper floor math class, was lit only by the buzzing fluorescent lights, some flickering like they were struggling to stay alive. Mrs. Carter, my teacher, was out sick, so we were told to expect a substitute. At exactly 4:10 p.m., the classroom door was creaked open. A tall woman entered. She didn't look like a substitute I would ever seen. Her hair was damp, sticking to her face like she would came out of rain. Her skin was chalk white, almost bluish, and her clothes, a grey outdated dress with long sleeves that looked like they belonged to the 1940s. She didn't introduce herself, didn't smile. She simply said, "Sit, begin." Her voice felt too wrong, like someone forcing sound through a damaged throat. I looked down at my test sheet. It was completely blank. I raised my hand hesitantly. "Ma'am, I think something's..." She was suddenly standing right beside me. I hadn't heard her walk. Her face was inches from mine, eyes wide, sunken, terrified. She whispered, "He's coming. If you finish that math test, he will come for you too." Before I could react, she turned her head towards the classroom door. Not her body, just her head. It rotated much farther than a human neck should allow. The lights flickered violently, then everything went black. For maybe 3 seconds, the room was silent. Then the lights came back, the woman was gone. I sprinted to the door, but it didn't budge. It felt like someone was holding it to shut from outside. I turned, and she was there again, standing behind the teacher's desk, staring at me with those lifeless eyes. She whispered one last thing. "You can't tell him you saw me." Then she vanished, literally vanished. The door suddenly opened on its own. The janitor walked by and froze when he saw me inside. "What the hell are you doing in there?" he asked. I told him about the substitute. He shook his head slowly. "There is no substitute today. Your teacher cancelled the makeup test, and this room," he pointed at the door, "has been locked since noon." When he checked the attendance system, there was no record of the substitute teacher entering the building. Turns out room number 215 used to be a part of the old wing of a school before renovation. A woman had died there decades ago when part of the ceiling collapsed during a storm. A woman wearing a grey old-fashioned dress. and a student had reported seeing her before storms and power failures. But I was in her in an empty building in full daylight, and she wasn't warning me about herself. She was warning me about someone else, someone who now knows I saw her. This happened at the Northview Middle School in Michigan. Elliot, an 8th grader, told this story, and he still refuses to sit in the last row of any room. It began on a dull November morning. The teacher, Miss Nolan, had rearranged the sitting chart because the students were talking too much. Elliot got placed beside a girl he had never once seen in the school. She wore a faded purple hood up, covering most of her face. She sat unusual still, hands folded, back straight, not moving at all. Elliot tried to be polite. "Hey, I'm Elliot." She didn't reply, didn't turn, didn't blink. The teacher took attendance. She never said the girl's name, and no one else in the class looked at her, not even once. During the first 25 minutes, the classroom temperature dropped sharply. Everyone started rubbing their arms, but the girl in the purple hoodie didn't react at all. Elliot noticed something strange when he dropped his pen. As he bent down to grab it, he saw her legs. Bare, pale shines covered in a grey dust, like she would crawled out of rubble. When he straightened up, she finally moved her head, turned towards him in an unnatural slow motion. Under the hood, her face wasn't complete, like someone had erased part of it with sandpaper. Half a mouth, one cheekbone, no eyebrow, skin that looked unstretched and patchy. She whispered, "Don't sit here tomorrow." Her voice sounded like multiple voices layered on top of each other, male, female, young, old, all at once. Alion's heart almost stopped. He blinked and she was gone. Her chair pushed nightly under the desk, no hoodie, no sign she had ever been there. When the bell rang, he dashed to the office and he asked the secretary about the new student. She showed him the class roster. There was no new student. The back row set he had been assigned to. It had been left empty for years. 5 years ago, during a renovation, a girl had been crushed when a section of ceiling collapsed. Witness said she was wearing a purple hoodie. Students reported seeing her occasionally, especially when someone new sat in her old seat. They said she warns them once, just once. If they come back to seat the next day, they don't stay enough to complain. And aloud swear that when he had left the classroom the morning, he could hear the faint footsteps behind him. Light dragging footsteps as though someone was following me, trying to see if he could return to back row the next day.